Hello YouTube. People like to ask for opinions and hot takes, so today I'm gonna give you my little tier list on who I would buff, who I would nerf, who I think is just fine, no need to change, and who I think needs a rework in Overwatch 2 Season 5. It is July 4th, 2023, and we are gonna start from the top. D.Va. And chat can also add their input. They feel like any hero is like super annoying. Do they need a rework? I actually think D.Va's really good. I would say nerf her. I would nerf just a little bit. I would probably tune the either A, the matrix length, or B, the duration. Still feels super oppressive, just like a little bit. Maybe the recharge rate of that, or you can bring the booster cooldown back to 5 seconds. She's still really good. This is a pure opinion piece. I'm gonna get roasted for my opinion, and I'm also gonna roast your opinions in the comments and in chat right now. This is the part where we never agree with each other. Doomfist. Okay, we need to buff Doomfist just a little bit. I think right now they also need to fix a lot of his bugs. I wouldn't say rework him back to the whole like DPS thing. I would buff Doom just a teensy bit. I would actually change it so his power block actually works as a tanking ability, where maybe some explosions don't or get actually absorbed correctly, because a lot of times like if you get stuck by something, you're kind of just cooked. But this is just a very small change. Junker Queen. I would still nerf her just a little bit. I think she's still a little too good. I really think they just didn't need to buff her bleed to be that good. She was already fine before they giga buffed her in mid-season 4. They already nerfed the commanding shot back to 150. I think the healing ratio used to be 1.25x. Right now it's 2x. Maybe we go back into the middle and go 1.5x. But Queen is still really good. I would say small nerf. Orisa? I actually think Orisa's underrated right now. Maybe some people would argue she needs another buff, but I actually think she's just slightly down because the other tanks are a little bit better. But I would actually not change Orisa right now. I think they buffed her in this season 5 to 13 damage instead of 12, and I actually think she's okay. I think she will indirectly become more popular as time goes on once they tune the other stuff. Just saying. Ramatra, we need to nerf him. He's a hot pick in season 5, one of the big 4, along with Junker Queen, D.Va, and Winston. But Ramatra would probably just like maybe tune a bit of his the ratio or the amount of damage he can block. Like the chasing movement speed is annoying, but you can kind of play around that. But like I actually think his block is kind of insane for how long you can do it and how good it is. And I also think his ultimate's crazy. I think his ult is, some people would argue it needs a nerf, but there is counterplay to it. If you play Orisa, the problem with Ramatra is because like Orisa and Roadhog tend to play decently well into him. But like Orisa's not that popular and Roadhog is so bad that like Ramatra gets to run all over everybody. I'd probably just nerf the block duration, or you can even cut like the Nemesis timer from 8 seconds to like 6 seconds and he might be okay. Either that or lower block percentage to like 50% damage reduction. That's already pretty solid. Because right now as it stands, like he was picked all the time in Overwatch World Cup. If he gets walled off by Mei, he can just AFK and block forever for 8 seconds and just take no damage. Reinhardt, nerf run. No, I'm just kidding. Every Ryan main's like, buff him, please. I would say maybe... I don't know. I think Ryan's actually like okay. I know Flats was lurking. He's gonna be like, no, he's weak. But I think he's weak indirectly because of other reasons, not because he's weak in himself. I think it's because Ramatra is really good. Ramatra just punches him. Like his tough matchups are obviously the Discord orb and Ramatra punching him and like Junker Queen just walking all over him. Ryan is okay. He's just not that popular because of the other tanks. All right, Roadhog. We need to buff him or just completely rework him. I think we're going to go on the rework section. He is by far the worst tank right now. You look at the win rates. He's at like 40%, 41% across all. You can no longer one-shot. If you don't want that annoying one-shot identity, he needs something done to like change him completely. They are reworking him later in season 6 or late season 7 or something. They mentioned it's on the way. It's hard to say where he's gonna land. It just feels so weird how like his whole career in Overwatch 1 was hooking and you can one shot. Now he's no longer consistent with that. He kind of just stands there and just eats damage like forever. I played a single game of Hog in a viewer game yesterday and all I did was just feed. Like I hooked some people and then they wouldn't be converted on a kill. Sigma. No change. I think Sigma's great right now. Winston, no change. I think Winston's great right now. Winston's actually a top 4 tank, especially in Asia, but he's one of those like high skill ceiling, high reward characters. And I actually think this is like a philosophical question. Do you think it's okay in Overwatch to have heroes that are not good at the low ranks, but great and fine at the higher levels? And I think the answer is yes, to be honest with you. Does a hero need to be viable at every rank? I don't think so. People say you need a balance to make it like better for low ranks and worse for high skills, but I think it's okay to have heroes that are just hard to play and hard to execute. But yes, if you guys look at the stats, Winston is a terrible win rate in like gold and below, and it starts to get a little bit better over time and then becomes super meta at the highest levels because people are capitalizing, he's taking space correctly. I think it's fine, and I actually think Winston's in a good spot for that reason. He doesn't feel super OP, right? I feel like when I get rolled by a monkey, I'm just like, this guy's good at Winston. Like I applaud him because it doesn't feel too cheap. If I get primal juggled, I'm like, this guy practiced. You know what I mean? But if I just get randomly one shot by like Roadhog, it's annoying. And honestly, Doomfist too. But like I'm saying, this is a weird take that I'm saying buff him, but like I'm saying just, if you listened earlier, I said tiny buff. Wrecking Ball. Surprisingly, I think there's enough counters in the game that Wrecking Ball doesn't actually need any changes. He has not felt that problematic for me personally, but I think a lot of you guys are saying nerf him. They Giga buffed him, then they tuned him back a bit and he's in the middle ground. I actually think Ball's okay right now. You have the new Brig, remember, with the stun. Sombra. You have the new Hinder Nade to like shut him down. But obviously if you let him do whatever he needs to do, then he's super annoying. Maybe Adaptive Shield is kind of ridiculous. It is a lot of HP. I'm gonna keep him at no change. Same with Zarya. Zarya, no change. High skill, high reward. If you get charged, you should be rewarded by doing more damage. If you have bad bubble timings, you're bad. Ashe? I think Ashe is okay right now. No change. Bastion? I think Bastion's okay right now. He's probably really annoying in the low ranks. He's actually being played at the high ranks, and he's got a lot of HP, obviously, 300 HP, but he's like so slow. You just have to play around his cooldowns. There's a difference between being like annoying to play around, but like being super oppressive. I think he's fine. He has very glaring weaknesses. Super easy to shoot. Has very low, slow periods. He fits that niche in that role. Cass, do we rework his grenade again? Nerf the nade? I don't know what more you want to nerf, or do you just rework the nade? Yeah, I think we should buff him. Echo? I think Echo's great. No, I'm kidding. Okay, on the real though, the only thing I would change with Hinder Nade at this point, just remove the slow on it, and I think it's okay to have abilities that can stop and slow it down, because like Tracer was basically going unmatched the whole time. I think the Hinder is okay. You just have to cut the slow. The slow is like probably the worst. The homing got nerfed this patch, so I guess it's not as bad. It's kind of like a skill shot. All the castmates, I know Wanted's always just like, dude, he's actually not that good. He's all skills now. You still have to like land your shots, minus the homing part. But yeah, get rid of the slow, and I think he's okay, and you can reassess. Genji, everyone's saying better nerf Genji, or better buff him, but remember, he's got his ammo back to 30. I think Genji's in a good spot. I'm gonna keep him at no change. Hanzo, we're gonna have to nerf him again, I'm sorry. Because Widowmaker got nerfed, Hanzo can kill. He's the only hero in the game that can one-shot across the map right now. So the changes indirectly to all the other hit scans make it super annoying to play around. You could probably get away with, what could you change to Hanzo to not make him so annoying? I think the 120 damage thing is fine, but you have to cut his mobility. Put the leap back to 5-second cooldown. Maybe cut the storm arrow damage down to 60 instead of 65. Or you could add fall off damage to him, but then is there any projectile in the game that has fall off damage? I don't think so. Or you can make him slower when he's holding a charge bow. There's also that. I think that's what Hanzo used to do. When you hold tension on the bow, you're able to move at full speed still. There's an argument to be made that should someone who's fully flexing his pecs and his arms and his elbow be able to fucking run at full speed? Because like when Widow is scoped in, she's slower. When Ana is scoped in, she's slower. Doesn't he move? Wait, does he move slower right now with full tension? I think he does, right? Well, I mean, like, I think you can amplify it a little bit more. It's only 30% when he's full tension. Okay, maybe 50%. And then we can talk again and put his leap cooldown back to 5. He can still be a sniper, but like you want to like maybe amplify his weaknesses so he's not so well-rounded, you know what I mean? Because he can fight close with Storm Arrow. He can fight long with the long range stuff. He has Sonar, which is strong. His Dragon is a great zoning tool. So if he's gonna hold full charge around a corner, maybe he should be punished a little harder for that with a bit of a slow. Or, I don't know, the whole removing one-shot's another debate because no projectile in the game has fall off, so unless I'm mistaken. Maybe there's one that I'm missing. But remember, the leap used to be 5 seconds. It got buffed to 4 seconds. 4-second uptime on it is kind of crazy. Oh, Orisa. Wait a minute. Orisa does have fall off. That's a good point. All right, well, my take on it is you definitely need to nerf him, so I'll keep it there. Junkrat, believe it or not, I actually don't think Junkrat needs any changes right now. I think he's just a product of the meta where in high elo, it's just Junkrat mains who are playing him more than anything. They nerfed Junkrat to mine from 120 to 100, and he's back to 110. He's one of those heroes that are like really annoying in bronze to like plat, and then he kind of falls off in diamond and masters and low GM, and then he gets like really good in high elos from really good junk mains. If you play Echo or Pharah into him, what is he gonna do? Unless he does like the double mind jump and tries to kill you. Mei just got buffed again. I don't like this. I don't like the new change. Surprisingly, I thought I would be like, oh, it's more skill shot. Sounds good. But like, I just don't like it. Oh, honestly, rework her into a tank actually sounds kind of cool. Anybody play Heroes of the Storm? Shout out to HOTS players. I actually love that game. That was like my favorite MOBA to just chill out and play with. Just give her like a rolling snowball. Give me tank Mei like it was in Heroes of the Storm. But on the real, if you were not going tank, I actually think just putting her back to where she was beforehand was totally fine. Pharah? I think Pharah's fine. I always say when you raw dog Pharah, she's like meh. When you pocket her, she's even better. Is there a way to kind of like amplify her so like she no longer relies on a pocket? Like Echo? I don't know. But for now... Oh yeah, that suggestion with shield health. If you change her health to shield health, so she actually has to go into cover, she can naturally heal and she won't rely on the mercy pocket as much anymore. Which also means if she has to hide, she's out of the fight for a few seconds. Which in itself, like you would think is like giving her shield health sounds like a buff on paper, but it means she's out of the fight a bit longer. Does that need to change though? It's weird because there's only 2 flying archetypes in the game. With Mercy, well, for DPS at least. She's really hard to play without the Mercy pocket though. I would actually think, yeah, maybe, it doesn't mean Pharah's in a bad spot right now, but I actually think reworking her so she's less reliant on the Mercy would actually be kind of cool for the game. So I'm gonna put her here. This is just an opinion piece, right? I would change this. I would actually rework it for that to make her less reliant on Mercy. She feels really bad without it. Okay, Reaper. I'm gonna put him on no change. He's good in the spots he's good at, and he has very, very glaring weaknesses. He's not even that popular in high elo. I think he's actually fine the way he is. He does his job correctly, and if you kite him out and you can't get close, then he's bad there. I think that's fine. Sojourn. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually say buff Sojourn. Just a little bit. Mostly just the primary fire. You can even reduce the rail a bit more. I actually don't even think she needs a headshot with the rail. Sojourn has terrible win rates and low elo. She's really good at the high levels. Actually, would that go under rework? I would change 2 things. I would buff one thing and nerf the other thing though. So like maybe where should I put this? I would genuinely nerf the headshot on rail and like improve the spread a little bit. Maybe I'll just keep her on rework for now. Small adjust. Power shift would actually be a new category. Add row below. So this is a hero similar to Winston where I mentioned like, is it okay in a game like Overwatch to have heroes that are bad in low ranks, but really good at high ranks? And the answer was yes for you guys on Winston. Sojourn is kind of the same thing where she's terrible in lower ranks, but like pretty good at high ranks. Also, yeah, actually Pharah would go in this category too, sorry. Yeah, it's virtually impossible to balance for all ranks. Yeah, maybe Cass can go in here too now that I made this one. That's a good call. No, not just a rework. This is just a slight tuning of numbers. So, or maybe we don't have to touch Sojourn at all because she's good at high ranks, bad at low ranks, and we can keep it the way it is. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. Isn't nerfing a number but buffing another one's kind of like evens it out a little bit. It's distribution of power, so like, yeah. Sombra, okay, this is a hot take. They're already planning a rework for Sombra, but I actually think she's fine the way she is. Annoying, but I don't know. She doesn't feel as bad as she used to be. Not as oppressive. She's not even picked permanently. She's good in the matchup she's good on. I actually think all the tank players will say she needs to be reworked because getting hacked is not fun, but maybe it's because I'm a support main. I don't have that like feeling of playing against an annoying Sombra. I am also a target if I play Zen or I play Anna, but like you learn to play around her a little bit, right? Yeah, she's picked at high ranks, but she's not even picked in ranked. I don't know. Every single rank's gonna have a different take on this. It's true. Symmetra, they're already confirming they're doing this, but I think that's actually a good change for the game too. Power shift for both Sim and Torb, where they're actually taking power out of the turrets and putting it into her kit. Same with Torb. They've already announced they're gonna take some power out of the turret and put it into like his like skill part. So I think that's good. Slight shift is good. Tracer again is one of those heroes really good at high ranks, bad at low ranks. But because she's permanently picked at high elo, people are like, oh, maybe we need to nerf her a little bit. Maybe you could shift some power. Did you just say buff Tracer? Ain't no way you said that. No. I think it's fine that bad and low elos, good at high, super high skill cap hero, feels really rewarding to play. I think we'll keep her at no change for now. If anything, other heroes need to get tuned a little bit to help. Do you see how I actually don't even have too many heroes that are buff, except Widowmaker and Doomfist? Doomfist, slight power shift, well, slight buff to one skill. Widowmaker, I would actually be okay with putting her back at 200 HP. That's it. We've experienced this new range. People are adjusting to it. I think 200 HP is fine. It's actually not that bad. 175 feels kind of bad. I am a believer that every hero should be good in certain spots. I hate Widow too. It's annoying. I would always say nerf it, but for the sake of trying to be a voice for all heroes and for all types of players from every category. As a support main, I would say, yeah, nerf her. But for like Overwatch as a whole, I think it's fine to have her at 200 HP. Ana, I'm kind of biased for Ana, obviously. She's one of my mains. She is really good, but also very high skill. If you miss your shots, it's rough, excuse me. I'm gonna put her at no change. Baptiste, honestly, it's gonna sound bad. I actually think you could nerf Bap slightly and he'd still be good. As a Bap player, he does way too much damage for a support hero. Also, his window got randomly just like a giga widescreen in like the middle of near the end of Overwatch 1. If anybody remembers. I actually didn't even think he needed any of those and he'd still be a great hero. You can nerf the fall off damage and maybe the seconds off lamp, sure. That's it. Brig, I actually think Brig's in a pretty good spot right now. I actually really like the reworks after playing it. I actually think she's good. That's shocking you'd nerf Bap but keep Ana. I think Ana is a little bit harder to, you have to make a decision to like either shoot the enemy or shoot like, you know, your team. For Bap, you can literally do both, which is insane. He can actually do both simultaneously. I find Bap easier to play than Ana, actually. A lot easier. Ana, I have to like be wary of Winston's, and I feel like there's ways to counter Ana pretty hard. For Bap, I can challenge almost every tank in the game, and I can 1v1 them with window. Listen, I play both of these guys a lot. I think Bap is just like way too well-rounded. And the jump too, mobility. Kiriko. I don't know, Kiriko's received a lot of nerfs over time. She's either on no changes. She's actually not that good in lower ranks. They just need to fix her bugs, true. Fix her TP bugs. Does anybody feel super... It feels annoying to get double dinked by Kiriko, but sometimes you'd be like, damn, she back-to-back headshot me. You kind of respect it, unless you kind of just stood still, then you deserved it. But Suzu is kind of a really, really strong ability. Maybe you could tune some of the nerf, some small part of the Suzu. You can remove the knockback as well. You either touch the Suzu. I think you can keep the rewarding triple headshot damage. 120 does look like a lot, but only a few Kiris are able to like actually capitalize that to the way it is. Yeah, maybe we can tune. I would just tune Suzu just a little bit. This should be a small nerf section. I'll probably just tune Suzu. Maybe increase the cooldown by 2 seconds and get rid of the knockback. The knockback is actually, I literally killed the Junker Queen when she ulted because of the knockback. So it's very niche scenarios, but the knockback can be a little disruptive as a tracer when you're 1v1ing her up close. It's like a small change. Lucio, I think he's good the way he is. No change. Lifeweaver, I would say buff. I actually don't think you need to rework him. He's like pretty close to being reasonable. I don't think he needs a full rework. They buffed him a lot and some people are like, he's like getting there. He just needs a little bit more in the right spots, which is probably the I think having the thorn volley. Like if you have enough thorn volley on people, I think it should detonate and maybe like do a little bonus damage to allow him to like make a choice to do a bit more DPS. I saw a suggestion where his healing should be like a reverse charge. So when you just AFK, he's already building up natural charge and he'll top it off to 75 and he'll just hold it and he does other things. So I could be like DPSing, then I flip, and then I'll heal 75, and then it slowly recharges. Like it's already charging, and I press the heal button to unleash it whenever. That actually sounds like a pretty cool idea, or a Halo Needler kind of thing for him. But yeah, I don't think he needs a full rework. I actually think he's a pretty cool hero. So yeah, the reverse charge where like, yeah, you don't manually charge anymore. You don't have to charge anymore. You just let go, and it'll pop out as much heals as long as the downtime was in between it. So you can choose to DPS, and then you're actually naturally on the side building charge for the heal again. It sounds like, whoa, you're giving him 75 heal on paper? Well, I mean, Baptiste I could just press my right click and I can also just AoE heal 70 as well, you know what I mean? So it doesn't feel like that bad of an idea to just allow him to just chuck a heal at full while you're DPSing. Mercy, I gotta be careful with this one. Don't tell Twitter. I'm gonna say shift. Power shift slightly. I'm scared. Mercy players, please. The Mercy Mafia, please. I think it's totally cool to give her power. Like you can allow her to have like, we want her to express skill because a lot of people complain about the lack of skill on this hero a lot of times. So in season 4, they made it so when you express skill with like cool movement cooldowns, like slingshots or super jumps, you get punished for a longer cooldown. I actually think it's totally cool to put it back there, but nerf the beams, because the beams are just attach and they just do a lot. I think it's fine for her to have movement like that. Some people will complain, low-hanging fruit, that Mercy's movement was insane with super jump, but I mean, literally Doomfist exists as a hero. I think Doomfist's movement is way more impressive than a Mercy just slingshotting and stuff like that. I'm fine with her being able to like super jump and like, you know, backwards GA. I mean, she's in the air. She's like, I think that's fine. Let's just nerf probably damage boost to, what's another breakpoint that would be okay? Maybe like 20%? No mass res. All your suggestions are very interesting in chat. Or we rework the whole hero. F it. And fix her GA, of course, like I said. I saw it earlier. Moira. Where are we at with Moira? There are some interesting opinions in the chat here. Everybody's perception of the hero really depends what rank you are. She's fine. In fact, she was one of the least popular supports in Hilo till this recent buff. She's good where she's good. She has no utility, but like, I really think she's really good in solo queue for sure, in a very coordinated environment. You play D.Va, you eat her orbs, force fade, kind of like Kiriko. You just force like the fade, you force the swift step. People just like to take 1v1s. I think as a hero, like Genji's will be like, yeah, nerf Moira, but like, just don't challenge her in the 1v1. Does every DPS hero need to be able to kill every support in a 1v1? I don't think so. It's usually the DPS players that complain certain supports are a little too strong, which I agree, some of them are a little too strong, but this is just one of those things where like the matchup's bad, just it's okay to learn to play around stuff. It's a dynamic game with 36 heroes, you know what I mean? And Zenyatta, I don't even feel like Discord Orb is needed in this game. I think they could just like make the orb do something else completely and he'd still be a cool hero. He does a lot of damage. Transcendence is cool. He kicks people up close. I would actually like, you could just, if Discord Orb is that bad for tank players, a lot of tank players hate this ability. I actually just think this, like, as long as you shift Discord into something else, he's still got Harmony Orb, which would be good for your tracers, good for your echoes, good for someone who needs it. Or honestly, you could remove, if you remove Discord and make his orb, his like maybe his Harmony Orb heal like 40 HP per second, is that any worse than like having Mercy heal 55 on a beam? 40 HP per second Harmony might be kind of actually really strong. 2 Harmony Orbs at 25. It's currently 30 HP per second Harmony. You could give him 225 HP per second Harmony Orbs. Would that be okay? He has weaknesses. He has very distinct weaknesses. You play Pharah, you play Echo against him. That doesn't sound bad on paper, but I had to think about this a little bit more. And he also does like a lot of offensive damage. Yeah. If he got rid of Discord, he would be a useless hero. He's basically a third DPS in that sense. So like, how do you keep his identity as a support hero? You know what I mean? Yeah. You keep Harmony and you make Discord do something else. That's basically the power shift I'm talking about. A poison orb, attach a poison orb, deal like 10 HP per second ticking. If Discord did healing reductions to the damage champ, I mean, he's not instant killing, but in the long game, he's still effective. If I keep the Discord orb on a Reinhardt, he just gets healed half the amount. I think tanks would still complain about that. Listen, again, my perspective on what I would change is a way to make as many people happy. I can't please everybody with my idea of how I would change the game if I were the lead hero designer, but I'm trying to think of the closest one size fits all. I don't know. This is why game balance and design is hard, man. I would say shift, but for now, I'm gonna go with my take. 25 HP, 2 orbs. Okay, that's just my my opinion on what I would change in the game if I were the lead hero designer. I read a lot of your interesting things in the chat. If you guys have any more in the comments, let me know. I don't know, let's just brainstorm. Obviously, we can all throw ideas in the air. Maybe somebody will watch this and listen and be like, hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.